Salon Decide Special Edition this day here on AYV Television, on Channel 33 and on the radio on 101.7 FM, on our Facebook page AYV News, and there you shall be part of the program. Drop your comments and on our Facebook page AYV News, and we'll definitely read them. We'll continue the conversation surrounding the election, the aftermath of the election, and we also want to look at the role of young people in maintaining peace and national cohesion. And we also want to look at security issue, how it will look like, within the election and after the election moving forward as well. There has been a lot of issues surrounding, within how we build peace and national cohesion. But for talk on the security aspect, I get with me Abdul Karim Will, the Director of Communications, Office of National Security, ONS. Abdul Karim Will, welcome to the show.
Thank you very much. Good afternoon, Sierra Leoneans. Good afternoon, AYV. I'm happy for there, especially so after we multi-tier elections. Yeah. The rigors all long go through.
I know. All right, and we also expect Ambassador Mohamed Lamin, is a youth ambassador, and also don't they engage young people across the country how we maintain peace and national cohesion. But let's start off with you, Will. Generally, what think will be the security assessment with regards to since the announcement of the election moving towards a month, 2 months, weeks, and we see the election successfully ended, and there are a lot of comment from international body that this is one of the most peaceful elections across Africa.
Thank you very much for giving this platform.
Yeah.
On the basis of we national security threat assessment and we intelligence and information estimates from across the country, we're happy for reports say the entire country relatively peaceful. And we look forward to say that this will get for continue for be the case for the predictable future. We mean say in spite of social media threats, in audios, or videos that people they make, or text messages people they send, they all just mean for scare people. Or let the public continue for go about their normal lawful business, and rest assured, say, as a sector, we get the preparation, we get the capacity and readiness to provide security for every Sierra Leonean and all of the time. So on behalf of the leadership of the security sector, let us take also this opportunity for express the security sector's thanks and appreciation to all Salone people for the level of commitment and cooperation throughout the electioneering process. Don't forget, say, before the elections, we don't promise the people of Sierra Leone and the entire world that as a sector we get for discharge, we functions them honorably, professionally, impartially, so that the conducive atmosphere we required for the peaceful conduct of the elections go prevail, so that every stakeholder in the process go able to carry out in functions effectively. And I sure say the public will agree with me, say we don't excellently carry out the functions. The leadership of the security sector being work right around the clock, spend sleepless nights, and commit the required resources just so that they provide support to the personnel then we get for the foot soldiers, all of the various deployment points across the country. One for tell plenty thank you to Sierra Leoneans for we then cooperate to that process there, because we always don't say the security will be provided for and on behalf of the people of Sierra Leone, and they will go only able to effectively do so if we get their support. Largely, we get their support. We want to encourage them for that we continue in this direction, because not only will require for the peace and development of a country, and for states that the security of this country now we all hand in there, and so we all get for be seen for play with roles actively for promoting the way we get for do with peace. We not just law enforcement we get a responsibility for, but in the enforcement of the law and day within us alone, if we not get cooperation from the people who they provide their functions, and therefore it will be difficult for we. So we want to be thankful to we all during the elections, especially on voting day, people then turn out in their numbers with patiently in a queues just so that they will cast their vote. and then do so without much rancor. But that notwithstanding, we've been getting some isolated incidents in some parts of the country. Going forward, we hope so we don't learn lessons from the incidents and we go renege from doing that kind of thing and what we do. We cause some problems, insecurity in some places. And I want for state say almost all of the incidents will be happen now as a result of suspicion, misinformation, and the wrong use of social media, such that ECSL will get a sacred responsibility for conducting elections. We get for the face some problems, especially the ad hoc staff. And that all boils to the kind information where they don't give to people. And with this mindset, every little thing we don't know satisfy with, then they treat out suspicion and the actions can be very much counterproductive.
That's a very, a very strong concern you also raise, because we see just after voting, we see CSL put out a press release where they call on Sierra Leoneans for be peaceful in terms of respecting the CSL staff. Within that period, we made to understand that when the CSL staff then they pull the box and do for putting out the soldier talk, we see people and come at them, beat some ECSL staff. That is also a concern. That speaks on security matters with regards to the area there as well.
Indeed, we concern. Now that make we appeal over time, we don't be to we moral guarantors, we political actors. Because for the average supporter, any statement will come out from a leader, the gospel truth. In no they make any effort whatsoever for analyze that information the way receive, rather it they go into action. And so all of the things that will be happen at several parts of the country, now be as a result of the information people they don't get. So they may get a mindset, then call us stereotypical ideas. It be difficult, especially within a short period, for disabuse people in minds from their kind belief that they will harbor. And so on elections day, all elections across the world no go be devoid of some challenges. Some polling stations, they will be get difficulty for get the materials on time, or even outside the materials and come on time. All of the materials were required not be needed. Some situations be they say by way how they pack the box them, the ballot box them, one or two covers are missing. All of this, that's in a way very common features of elections. And so now then side they will say the shortage of materials been there. If you want for let voting happen there effectively, for cater for all of the electorates will be in the queue for votes, it only makes sense say you have to bring calm materials from some other station for can replenish usai we get challenged for get all of the materials. Sadly, like I say, because of the misinformation, the lies where people we don't tell other people then can fall on them personnel they and cause material damage on them, then destroy vehicles and destroy the very voting materials where people we want for carry out their functions. And to the extent they even inflict bodily harm on the ECSL staff. And most of the staff here will be faced the unfortunate situations here. Now be ad hoc staff them, and now people who even ordinarily resident now they side the new side and meet then kind of unfortunate events and they. Now that make they appeal to the young people because in most of the cases now that we can see ready for take action, for practicalize or put into practice, then think they wouldn't go down rehearse over time in terms of their mindset we then get. For let them refrain from that kind of behavior here, because it's not good for the development of the country. It's not good for democracy. It's not good for the rule of law. Where we be the make we promise to the people of Sierra Leone and even the world at large, we be say we go do everything within we pass. We go do everything within we mandates for provide the most conducive environment suitable for the conduct of an election that could be adjudged as peaceful, credible, transparent, and everything. But we only able to do so successfully now majority of the various areas of the parliament across the country, 90–95%, because people in other side and they cooperate to the process. They not be harbor suspicion. They not treat ECSL staff as a people that will get any premeditated intentions for come do things that we go disadvantage them. Like I say, no election, no contest, no the way not get in your own hiccups. When how we able for carry out on ourselves, how we able for comport on ourselves, then go help on for provide answers to them in there. The public will agree with me. So on side they will say being get challenged for either late arrival of materials or insufficiency of materials because the people in the community then they exercise patience. All of what they may require for happen. We now for votes, even though maybe they extend the time a little bit than the thing where people may actually they look forward to. So now we appeal that one day. Young man them, if anybody for be very much concerned about the peace and security of Sierra Leone. Now young people and for be the first people we for harbor that kind of thought. Because if not by how we come, say by how they born in the world, now so we they die. Then it means now we young man and we get more stake on planet Earth than the them. Because then they don't live a longer time of their life. They don't enjoy in a way. They don't benefit from resources and so on and so forth. So why we now we get the reason for belief say now we get for take over the mantle of leadership from them people here, no go cooperate with processes where they promote peace, where they promote the rule of law, who go enhance development. So it can sometimes be strange, but it is understood that maybe because of the level of understanding, because of youthful exuberance, now we get the bone name for go about and that kind of thing. So I'm thinking in that kind of confused state, where they do things the way they out of the way. But we always will be reminded that we get a country what we call Salon, and that country they belong to we all. If we contribute positively for development, it will be to your own benefit. It will be to the benefit of generations yet unborn. If we, on the other hand, contribute for it become underdeveloped, now we go suffer the brunt. Where they say if Salon gets problems, now Salon people get problems. The country is just a conception. They're thinking, say, hey, there is a country called Sierra Leone, and they don't make geographical boundary or whatever. But the reality that they are the people of Sierra Leone, now they make this country. Now they make the places where people do not live, we don't get any occupations until we don't get any demarcation. Nobody they call it a country, nobody they determine as that kind of thing. So we owe them to, we picking them, we owe them to we safe. For let we ensure say we make this country peaceful. This election, so we conduct so, it don't be widely acclaimed as one of the most peaceful elections the world over. And so it is but important that after the voting, we also do things and we will continue for promote peace, for promote democracy, just so that we consolidate all of the gains for the betterment of we societies, for the betterment of we communities. Otherwise, it will be challenging. But sure, the whole world will look at we. And we don't discharge ourselves honorably as a people. The average Salon possibly be sabi, na possibly very much down to earth. Na possibly respectful to strangers. Na possibly the shame. And so, even for the moment, you go on for show decorum in what you do. You go on for bring decorum in your character. Let we continue in this light, because they say patience are virtue. Now only patience then go make you able to understand maybe something where you will get doubt over. And but for also state say as a sector, we own responsibility now for provide security for the people of Sierra Leone, whether not before election or whether not during election or whether not after election or take go. Now we responsibility that day. So we interventions, it can only be informed by the existence of situations. If people do not create rancor somewhere, if people do not do things that will undermine the peace of that community day, we hardly go intervene, except if we come now for support that process there. But if things any happen where they outside of the ambit of the law, no sensible person, no they expect we for sit down idly by, put we hands now we back, and allow that for happen. We're not going to do that one day, because if we do so, we're going to do a disservice not only to the people of Sierra Leone, but the country as a whole.
All right, I'll come back to you, because recently the Global Peace Index ranks Sierra Leone third, in Africa and fourth inside West Africa just after we election. So line to this, Mohamed Lamin is youth ambassador. Mohamed Lamin, welcome to the show of Salon Decides.
Thank you very much and welcome, Remy. And Thank you, viewers. Hello, how are you?
All right. Before the election, you and your team in a work across the country for talk to young people and how them for be peaceful and respect the rule of law and we able to manage peace and national cohesion before the election, after, and during the election. And we see that they become successful. We see the commitment of young people in terms of refraining from violence and within this period. What does that mean, from your point of view, which you message you take to young people and, within the period?
Thank you very much, Remy, once again for hosting me. One of the main reasons where make a day here today, now, first of all, for tell the youths of this country a very big thank you. They deserve a thank you because this election is one of the most peaceful elections, pre-election, election day, and even post-election from what we see, it's very, very peaceful. And I want to applaud them for that. And I ask that they continue on this pace. Salon, we don't go on a level where Tango rich election will be in this country. We know where any ala. We know say there are few things that will happen, but then they at least ain't no bad because now a process we are getting there. And now we see one or two inciting statements that they come and other people them. Political parties, them, something they will not accept the result. Waiting I want for say to the youth them out there and that the election done, the ECSL will get the mandates legally for announce the election result. They don't announce the result. They don't pronounce President Bio as the winner. And then we get the Supreme Court where they in charge for address election petitions. So whoever feels say okay, not satisfied with the results, let go to the court of law. Let we the youth not allow any politician for can use we for a source of redress. Not to we not get anything for do. We the youth there's nothing we can do for change the results where ECSL don't announce. Now only the Supreme Court get the mandate for change the results and pronounce any other thing. So do ya let not allow politicians then waiting with the youth to focus on now empowerment. Let we work with the government of the day and ensure that we are empowered. The manifesto of the SLPP, the President BO states and say 500,000 jobs for the youth. And waiting we for the do now how we for support this government and ensure say we get then opportunities there for job creation. Let we engage with them. Let we not begin count with some foreign way go data. Now promise the way President BO don't make a manifesto. That's I want to tell the youth them. Now we for come together and as I talk to you because of this peaceful election we will get. As a thank you to the youth, I they get a party where where they invite every youth of this country for go. Food and drinks could be available. And they start at 5 p.m. till down. Let we go and rejoice. And this now for we keep the pace. Now for they know see there is somebody out there we there for lead them, we there for listen to them, and we're ready for knock now state institutions them. When ensure say the youth are empowered in this country.
You talk about the part of the manifesto of President Bio and we the two main political parties they also be say if any one of them win their provision for young people for create job. But we see say the SLP government win and part of the manifesto is about like you mentioned 5,000 jobs for young people and also within that period there are human capital development programs so young people get for involved into skills and for meet the required jobs then will be created for them and that's also a concern while the job then will be created for young people but also how we for train the young people are for meet the job expectation. We see mining companies in this country past them decide for go take young people in other country them for can work inside salon but how we for able for capacitate the young people, move them away from them, their low thinking. Say it's high time, we put our mind together, we able for, get this skill, we able for meet up the job market, and we able for get good job at the end, and young people be able for survive within the period.
Well, as the Minister of Basic Education, David Moena Senge, he's a close friend, and I know how much the ministry don't do when it comes to things like TVET, then the institutions, then where they empower youth them. A lot of these institutions, they don't be established, and more the way they will be established as we move inside these 5 years. not to foresee nothing. Government know the needs of these people. It's just that the government be constrained with resources, but even with that, then we don't do a little bit. But I want to tell the youth then say, these 5 years of President Bio, all waiting President Bio, they expect for we, now for let the country be peaceful, let we look up to them, and if we get issues them, let we pass through the right channels and reach out to government. Government's ready for listening to the youth them, and ready for ensure say the youth then get the basic needs, and the youth are empowered. Government not going to do everything, but they're ready for create the platform, for create job opportunities for the youth there. We see a lot of mining companies that they come, and we see that they create more institutions for train their youth there. And trust me, Remy, inside these 5 years, I don't preview to certain opportunities. I know say mining companies then get for come a lot, and as the government the manifesto does say agriculture get for be the flagship program, or now don't be the flagship program already, and letting youths them ready for grab this opportunity and ensure say they work with the government, and our economy could be far better than what you would see now.
Is that way you have advocate to government more for looking to the concern of young people? Like you say, job creation. We agree that is part of the government's plan. You also advocate to young people for refrain from violence. And we see, say, the election relatively peaceful. Comment from international body then praise the election as one of the most peaceful election across Africa. You know, but also we don't see young people there before keep the peace. The challenge is about getting job. How you also will lead a campaign then, you know, for leg governments, even though it didn't a document, but also be implemented for young people then?
Well, I mean, one thing I believe talk to youth them, I promise them say, let them fulfill the young part of the bargain, which is a peaceful election. And then when it comes to my own part, for ensure say I knock on doors of state institutions. Government create a lot of institutions them way for cater for youth. We get the National Youth Commission, we get the Youth in Fisheries, we get the Youth Corp, we got all there, we get the Youth Ministry, all the institutions they are there. And are ready for knock on these doors of these institutions, voice out waiting their young people are need, let them go to the field, do research, and do let them just try for know, and we go guide them. We're there for guide the institutions there. This time around, I think we need to go down to the youth then and know exactly what they want. In order for be one thing, but with time, we go get for achieve what we want. As I always say, we get for work with government of the day. The SLPP of President Bio don't win. So we all, whatever political party you there, you just get for embrace this win and let we all work as a team, a unity, and let work for one mama salon. And it will be easy for the government, you will step in and do for waiting with the youth man they want. Me don't take up on this for be a lead for the youth there, and I go knock on doors. I have friends in the government, and I will always reach out to them and see how they can able come and fulfill the dream of the youth man there.
All right, Will, the security concern within this time very key. We see also seen a pull a press release, you know, cautioning with regards to institutions we seem for discredit the election results. Not believe say you know any political party for win, but also we see ONS say it's a security concern, and then they actually look into that. You are for talking to that?
It's a security concern and a very serious one. I mean, the ranking of Sierra Leone as the third most peaceful country in Africa and the first in West Africa, you know, come out of a vacuum. Now, as a result of tireless efforts, every Sierra Leonean now make for what we achieve, that fits not to a mean one. It means say we meet all of the threshold for be considered as that kind country there. A recent survey proves say Salone and Liberia, now one of the countries in the world, now Africa particularly, we don't go into brutal civil conflicts. We don't escape the 20-year relapse trap into conflict. We mean say every country we don't go into a civil conflict, the chances they for a relapse into another conflict after 20 years. We did above 20 years now from the time when we were done. And if then the rank we now as a country we don't be one of the most peaceful in the world. The first peaceful country in West Africa. We for make every effort for maintain that kind thing there, and maybe for becoming the most peaceful country in the world. Any attempt where any grouping or possible for make for undermine then we efforts in there, it will be roundly condemned, totally condemned. So yesterday, indeed, the security sector through the Office of National Security will come out with a press release. That press release there, he addressed very key concerns. But the main theme of that press release, now the one way they do with the parallel publication of elections results by unauthorized bodies and the implications for national security. The press release, amongst other things, recognized, say, the Elections Commissioners alone, by law, either with Constitution or the Public Elections Act of 2022, it recognized only the ECSL as the state institution we get the mandate for pronounce elections results. Any other person will do so, either before or after, it contravene the provisions of the law and day. And when that happen, it equal to usurping the powers of the ECSL. But beyond that, it get a tendency for cast shadows, dark shadows, on a process where don't be widely acclaimed as one of the most peaceful, transparent, and credible. And the consequences of them kind of actions and they now for create unnecessary tensions. Now for create a situation who say people where ordinarily we don't get suspicion about the activities of ECSL, go just now bank on this kind narrative or say, oh, not true. I mean, if you go on our social media platforms now, all over Sierra Leone, they are awash with people where they engage into debates. And then debates all they hover around the pronouncement of the National Elections Watch. Some they claim, say, the elections are credible. And waiting is new publicized, it just now for create confusion. Some other people, we get some contrary views, say, we not lost the elections because according to news projection, there could have been a runoff. And because there is no runoff for them, the elections have been rigged. So you see how it complex, how it get a tendency for throw people into harm's way, for make people begin for do things same way they against law and order. The press release end up for encourage ECSL, new and any other grouping for make conscious efforts in future for engage with the relevant elections management bodies. Because only through this, you will forget the correct picture, because you will get the opportunity for compare what you get as to what yourself get. And besides, nobody not get the authority for publish results for ECSL. So we they appeal for that one day. We only hope that this go down serve as lesson enough that going forward, we go ensure say we do we homework correctly, because it get the tendency, if we not do so, for plunge we country into turmoil. Currently, even though we not get physical confrontation, but mentally, people they confront each other, they question the credibility of the elections. We also they call on new for help for resolve this confusion. For let it also come public like how ECSL don't do. ECSL publicized all of the elections results in polling stations. They also come at the regional level. They also don't announce all of the results. Most of the results at the district level, they need at the hands of everybody, including political party agents and political parties themselves. If they say don't come make a projection where they claim say there could have been a runoff and there isn't a runoff, we mean say there are problems with the election, then let themselves also come public. Then they also lead by example, just like how ECSL don't do. Otherwise, it creates unnecessary problems for we. It creates unnecessary tension. And most organizations, including international observation missions. Then they now bank the criticism about lack of transparency and that using just that singular projection. We think say this was a wrong, incorrect, enough fine for we fragile democracy. We don't, like I say, don't do a lot. We don't do a lot of activities. We all, including you, for consolidate we had one piece. Why we want for undermine and now? At the time we need for the celebrate with successes. At the time we need for tap yourself on the back for having gone through a period where we expect it will be turbulent, but don't come out this peaceful. One hour for plunge the country into chaos. The press release also further go on for commend international partners, including observation missions, for where they remind the public, say, if you get any concerns relating to the elections, channel their concerns and using the due process. Test the judiciary, because they get a responsibility for interpret whatever concerns you get as far as elections concerned. We thank them for that. Now that we always on the appeal advocates for. That Salone a country governed by the rule of law. And therefore, if you want for, settle scores, you get something where you're not too satisfied with what you doubt, go through the court of law. Anything other than that, which man say it will be ultra biased. It will be against the principles of law. And when that happen, we go intervene. And when we intervene, it gets implications. Because we not want for reach that level and they, now that make before elections, so during elections, so, or even after elections. Now this we do. Already in we national elections preparedness plan will be developed under the auspices of the Integrated Election Security Planning Committee. We will get a post-elections security engagement. Very soon, when the dust settle, we will go all over the country at the decentralized level for engage with various groupings, the youth, political parties, local leaders, everybody when a citizen as alone, just so that they will bring the kind of themes and messages. We go foster peace, we also go accelerate development. Because as a country, I think say what we need now most, not development. The structures are there. We get the manpower. All we require now we willingness for maximize on all of the structures and project the country for the better. So now that one day we want for states. That press release day, it deliberately meant for ensure say we set the record straight and for sure the implications of that kind in them. Thankfully, the people of Sierra Leone, largely civil, largely decent. If not some other country, I tell you, this country will not burst into flames. It will not burst into flames. And in reality, if that be the two picture of a lower vote as against a majority vote, the one way they don't go onto the streets and begin for do things that we're shocking. But we tell plenty thank you to the people of Sierra Leone and join me brother for continue for appeal to we the young man them that do ya not allow let somebody put you into harm's way. Over time, the efforts don't be directed at getting youth safe for being in conflict with the law. Social media programs, people who reside abroad, where they respect the laws the way they in other foreign countries, and yet then they send incitements, hate speech, propaganda, misinformation, all sorts of diatribes, just so that they will put people into activities where will make them come in confrontation with the law. For me, that is at the service of the highest order to both humanity and country. Because at the end of the day, when you confront law enforcement, when you go into conflict with the law, and there is an event, it can get implications. People can wound. Sometimes in the worst case scenario, people they lost their lives. Properties that will be destroyed. The same people who they send the incendiary messages them, where they incite the public against law enforcement officers. Then they take now their cameras, video, or take records of their events and circulate onto the world. One, forgive the country bad name, forgive the implication, the impression that security sector institutions are heavy-handed, and so on and so forth. So I'm thinking it's even difficult for determine who are armed or unarmed protesters. Because anything where somebody hold a hand, if you decide for do mischief with them, it can be as deadly as any other thing. If you get stoned, they send up a policeman. That policeman gets a family. And that stone, they get the tendency for hit them and even kill them. you don't go expect that policeman dey for sit down and no do things that we go stop you from doing that kind of thing the way they do. So do ya, we were there na ya. Now we mindful say, if somebody send you for go do things away bad, if you actually go and do them, you get for take responsibility of your actions. Now that one they will get for put at the back of your mind. Okay.
All right, so I'll come back to you. We'll care for round up because I understand say the president, you don't want to forget a prayer, as we all know, say today Friday, and the president can normally get prayer with Muslim people. You know, we can always come, you know, for pray with the president. Well, I come to you, Mohamed Lamine. So moving forward, what would you expect young people for do? I know you get for continued engagement with young people and for let them understand that we're able to maintain the peace, you know, moving forward. And you also say you get party for young people today. Yeah. Is it today?
No, next Saturday.
Next Saturday, all right.
Yeah, one thing we may want to say now that President Bio don't promise when I manifest to say these 5 years here, it'll provide 500,000 jobs for people of this country, especially the youth. That's the manifesto. And President Bio a leader where they know for a talk and do president. So now they on we own parts for play real role. And waiting we get for do now for ensure say the country peaceful, we avoid anything we get for do with violence. Because we don't want a situation where we go get a platform. Now we are ranked third most peaceful country in Africa. So this alone don't until way they send a message to investors. They say, that country is very peaceful. And then we don't get a platform where investors then go come for can invest. And are the investors there, President Bio, hope on for can get jobs of opportunities for the youth there. If we sit down suffer and look to the president and this country, then now 500,000 jobs go come to pass. But if we say we involve in violence, we take to the streets for disturb the peace of this country, and then investors they are not going to come for invest in this country. And then tomorrow we're not going to blame President Bio, say we say you do 500 jobs, provide 500 jobs, enable provide 500 jobs. That's going to be with fault. So now let we ensure say the country peaceful, let we support the government of the day. If we get any issue we want for channel, we have state institutions. We're responsible for youth them. Me self una can count on me. We can knock at doors and ensure say we get what we want. We want to see the youth empowered. And from day one, I don't meet the youth, and I will continue. I talk and say, I don't do this because of elections they come. I don't do it because of now election day. Nothing way, na consistency. If we get the consistency, and then at the end of the day, we go to achieve the goal we want to achieve. That is for let every election in this country be peaceful. So when we don't start and so, until we continue, take go. And once they are alive, and I did in this country, or even if I'm not in this country, I will continue to engage the youth of this country for ensure say Sierra Leone is peaceful, and someday, very soon, we will be the first ranked most peaceful country in Africa.
All right, and Will, as we try for round up, waiting will be a security message, you know, moving forward, you know, as we, you know, most people can say at this time very crucial, you know, after the election, before the election, during the election, and after the election, this period very crucial. You know, like you mentioned, with so many press releases, and you know, with issues surrounding security threats, and I read a tweet from the U.S. ambassador in Sierra Leone says about security threats, whether it's on the ECSL staff, officials, and also whether it's from observers. You know, within this period, you know, how prepare is security?
So we want to assure the public that we remain fully committed. We remain alert for provide security for everybody, and for passionately appeal to people for also do things within the provisions of the law. I mean, we can always say that we interventions, we operations, and not they be informed by external factors, rather than by the various mandates we establish or the codes of conduct. We will continue to roll out the integrated election security plan. We include supporting communities for heal over the thing that will not happen well. Now that make be mentioned very shortly. Say we will go into engagement at the decentralized levels, and for states say we continue for remind people that we don't win, for let us celebrate moderately. The winner now is supposed for present the olive branch. And you say if we don't lose elections, You say get for comport yourself. You get for accept the loss the elections in good faith and prepare for future elections. You will win, no Hamburg, the other person. You say way loss, you get for ensure so you comport yourself. No attack other person, no attack political party offices. I mean, for me, elections done politics for head now. Now we not destroy the relationship with party them, relationship with the family members, because life day after politics. If you don't destroy that one day, then trouble will therefore happen. We support ECSL in all of the activities across the country. We up to last week we were engaged in supporting them for retrieve all of the materials what they may use in the election, for pre-position them aside they want them at the regional warehouses. Now that one we will go for do. They will do so for the people of Sierra Leone. Because we recognize the elections as civil process, now that we do everything within the provisions of the law for let we keep them at that. On elections day, unlike before, we not being get the ban on vehicular movement.
Yeah.
So ordinarily, you see people go vote and go do their normal business. Shops they open as upside them. People go their normal business and that kind of thing. So now that one day we look forward to for future elections. Let people go vote, even if that's school term. Let begin a one for go school. They want the one for go lesson, go do their lesson. Nothing no go among them. As long as we all play with your own part, then collectively we go for achieve with purpose, and that purpose is now for maximize peace, security, and a violent-free environment doing before, during, and after elections.
Thank you very much, Abdul Karim. Yes, Mohamed Lamin.
Yeah, since the announcement of the results, today I get the opportunity for come on air. I want to use this opportunity on behalf of the youth for congratulate His Excellency President, retired President Julius Maada Bio for being elected as the President of the Republic of Sierra Leone with a 5-year mandate. And I want to say thanks to the security sectors for all waiting and do before, during, and even up to date when it comes to the security and safety of the people of this country. And I want to encourage every youth out there to stay peaceful. I see some videos now, Bombe Market, to see something happen. And I want for big doya, whatever they happen, we'll embrace the opposition. And I ask the opposition for open their arms them, for receive we, for come and embrace them. And let us all work as a team. And Mama Salong will be better as how we want her. I thank you very much.
All right, thank you very much, Ambassador Mohamed Lamin. There are so many comments on our Facebook page because of obvious reasons. One for want to, and you know, for join the president, and as they get a normally Muslim Friday prayer, and Usai Muslims them, you know, now the country's capital city always pray with the president within the crucial term there. All right, many thanks to you, Abdul Karim Will, is Director of Communications, Office of National Security, ONS, and Ambassador Mohamed Lamin. Thank you guys for being part of the show, and this special edition will continue next week, and as well as we come to your updates and discuss about peace and national cohesion as we wait ECSL for read the results of mayors and chairman, you know, chairperson, members of parliament, councillors as well. So till then, do have a lovely weekend. Stay blessed, stay peaceful. Till then, bye for now.